Hello students, welcome back to your bio class. Now in this video we will talk about the next part of the chapter number 9, that is economic importance of fungi. We have studied economic importance of bacteria, now economic importance of fungi. Before studying its economic importance, I would like to tell you some important features of fungi. So as you know that fungi, they belong to they are not prokaryotes, they are eukaryote, which you have studied in first chapter. Eukaryotes means they have true nucleus. As you have studied in case of bacteria, they lack true nucleus, right? But fungi, they have true nucleus and they possess some of the organelles. Okay, but fungi lack chlorophyll. They lack chlorophyll, is absent, and that is why we cannot include them in plants. So we cannot say that they are plants because they lack chlorophyll. Secondly, their mode of nutrition is saprophytic. That means they feed upon dead decaying matter. They are not autotrophs like plants. So we cannot say that fungi are included in plants. We cannot include them in kingdom Plantae because they lack chlorophyll and they are saprophytic or heterotrophs. They are not autotrophs. If they are heterotrophs, means their mode of nutrition is different. They are dependent on others. So how do they derive nutrition? They absorb nutrition from the decaying matter, dead decaying matter. That is why they are called saprophytes. Fine. So because of this reason, fungi are included in separate kingdom, that is kingdom fungi. Now, so here it is written that they have no chlorophyll and their body is not differentiated into parts like root, stem, leaves, flowers. However, compared to bacteria, they are highly evolved because in bacteria we have studied that they lack true nucleus, they are prokaryotes, but fungi are eukaryotes with a true nucleus and they are multicellular. Fine. But according to 5 kingdom classification, they are not plants. The reason is that they lack chlorophyll and their mode of nutrition is heterotrophic instead of autotrophic. Now what you will find in your book, they have mentioned that this part, general study, is not in syllabus but useful to know. But at the same time, they have written here that the syllabus does not specify inclusion of yeast in this unit. However, we are describing for your enrichment because it is used in bakeries, breweries, and these both are in the scope of syllabus. So you have to study this. You cannot skip from this, and mostly questions may be asked from this also. So don't get confused. We will study all about this. So let us talk about the type of fungi. So when we will study fungi, basically we are talking about its 3 main types. That is mold. First is molds, fungi, under 3 categories. First is mold. Second one will be when we say mold means bread mold, Rhizopus, then yeast, and the third one will be mushrooms. So let us quickly study about them. Mold, yeast, and mushrooms. So mold, here mold means bread mold, which is a common name and biological name is Rhizopus. It is common bread mold. It grows generally on bread, that is why it is called bread mold. And you have also studied, if you remember in class 7th, I think, that this is the structure of bread mold. If you keep a slice of bread in moisturized place or you sprinkle little water, after few days what you will observe, a cottony growth all over it. This is called mycelium. This is basically fungus, which is a type of bread mold. And this mycelium, if you see under microscope or with a hand lens, what you are going to observe, each single thread, entangled mass, each single thread is called hypha. And this hypha contains, at the tip, it is swollen to form sporangium, which bears spores, black round spores. And these spores, wherever they will scatter, they will again help in reproduction. They will sprout and they will give rise to new fungi. Okay, so just give a reading to Rhizopus. Here, Rhizopus, it is a common bread mold and generally grows on bread and in warm and humid climate It consists of network of transparent thread-like structures called hyphae, and the entire mass is called mycelium. Entire mass is called mycelium, and if we see single structure, we will say hyphae. And the penetrating hyphae secrete enzymes, and these enzymes, they digest the food. That is the bread. They cause the breakdown of the bread. Reproduction in fungi or in bread mold is asexual as well as sexual. Asexual reproduction, it is with the help of, as I told you, spores. These spores, they will scatter here and there, and then they will again further germinate wherever they will fall on a suitable moisturized place. Then the next type is yeast. Now yeast, you have studied earlier also. Yeasts are economically very important, and the main reason for the economic importance of yeast is its tendency to cause fermentation. For this process, yeast is commonly used in baking industry as well as in wine industry. Now what is fermentation? Fermentation is the breakdown of sugary food. Sugary food, when we say sugary food, means we are talking about glucose. So yeast are anaerobes. They breathe anaerobically, and when during anaerobic respiration, they break down this glucose. This glucose is present in most of the sugary fruit, like fruits, nectar, or grapes, sugarcane juice, etc. So it will be broken down and it releases ethanol or ethyl alcohol, C2H5OH, and carbon dioxide is also formed along with it. So because of these two reasons, for this, what is formed? This is ethyl alcohol or ethanol. For this purpose, yeast is widely used in wine industry for making various kinds of wines, means commercial importance. And because it releases carbon dioxide, this carbon dioxide causes the dough to rise. This is again because of this reason it is used in baking industry. So let us have a look here. There are several species of yeast, but the most common type, the generic name is same, that is Saccharomyces. All yeast are one-celled fungi. They are unicellular. They occur either singly or in the form of budding chains. Now yeast are found freely in atmosphere. They readily grow in all kinds of sugary solutions and in any plant exudations such as sugar, wherever the sugary food is present in plants. For example, in grapes, means in the fruits, in the nectar of the flowers, in sugarcane juice, etc. Now this structure also you have to study. Please just go through this diagram. A single cell of yeast. This is the cell wall. These are glycogen granules. This is the large vacuole, and this is the nucleus. This is a fat vacuole, and this is all the cytoplasm. Yeast cell is ovoid in shape and has a distinct cell wall and a nucleus. There may be one or more vacuoles in the cytoplasm. Now nutrition. Yeast cell can directly absorb simple sugar, but cane sugar or sucrose, or they sometimes release enzymes to break down the sugary food. And when they cause the breakdown, that is actually called fermentation. So this example they have given, this is fermentation, that is breakdown of glucose to produce ethanol and carbon dioxide, and 2 molecules of ATP are also produced. Now economic importance of yeast. Yeast is very much important, as I already told, because it is basically used in wine industry and in baking industry. So useful and harmful fungi. Useful fungi, yeast, not only the yeast, some other fungi like Penicillium notatum, which we have studied in the previous part of this chapter, which is used for the antibiotic, for making the antibiotic, that is penicillin, which was first discovered by Alexander Fleming. So this is the most important function of fungi. And some harmful effects are also there for fungi. If they grow on food materials, like you might have seen that in rainy season, some vegetables or some fruits, they have some greenish or cottony growth on them, that is fungus. So this can cause food spoilage, and it is not good to eat such kind of, and we should avoid all these things. Okay, these may be dangerous for the health. So these are the harmful effects of the fungi. Now, useful role of fungi. Useful role of fungi, basically it is again the most important uses for making antibiotic, and the same definition once again we will revise. An antibiotic is a chemical substance produced by living microorganism which can stop the growth of or kill other microorganism. Now the same thing is given in the previous pages also. What are the criteria for a good antibiotic and what are the other uses of antibiotics? On page 86, here criteria for a good antibiotic and other uses, and once again they have given criteria for good antibiotic and it is same, so you can go through it again. Then fungi role in industry. So as I told you, its role in industry is for making wine, that is alcoholic beverage. Wine and other alcoholic beverages like beer are the products of process called fermentation. So you need to study the definition. Fermentation is a process in which microorganisms like yeast and bacteria, they can break down carbohydrates into simple products like ethanol or some other in the absence of oxygen. So the most important yeast which is used in wine industry is Saccharomyces cerevisiae. Please underline in your books and learn its name. Saccharomyces cerevisiae. This is a scientific name. When you will write scientific name, you will write S as capital and C as small. So biochemical reaction is the same as I told you. This is the fermentation of glucose. So basically it is used from fermentation process is basically on grapes. Grapes are crushed and fermented in large vessels, and either the yeast are added naturally or artificially, and then the ethyl alcohol which is produced, that is concentrated, and then whatever is left is called wine, that is like whiskey, gin and like other, depending upon the type of concentration of alcohol we have various kinds of wines. Okay, so characteristics of wine. Wine is quickly absorbed into our body. As you know, it is a stimulant, but it is very harmful, and the alcoholics, they may develop ailments, certain diseases, particularly the liver cirrhosis, in which the liver gets damaged badly. And the second most important economic importance of yeast is in baking industry, that is bread making. In baking, as you know, a mixture of flour, that flour will be atta or maida, and some salt is added, water is added, and the starch of the flour gets converted into sugar. When we add yeast, it will be fermented, it will be broken down, and carbon dioxide will be produced. So this carbon dioxide will help this dough to rises, and this is called leavening, means it will be fermented and it will become 2-3 times its original volume, and then it gives a spongy texture. So for this can further be used to make bread or some other like buns and all, and pastries and cakes. Everywhere yeast is used in baking industry. Okay, next is cheese. So you all know about cheese. It is a valuable food and it has high quantities of fats and proteins. So people have been eating cheese for centuries, and it is made from milk. Most of you might have seen your mothers preparing cheese from milk, but cheese can also be prepared from curd. When it is prepared from curd, we call it cottage cheese. So one is by curdling of milk to get curd, that is by adding lactobacillus bacteria. And then when curd is processed, if we remove the moisture from the curd, then what we are going to get is cottage cheese. Then we can add some salt, and salting means further removing moisture and trying to prevent the growth of undesirable microorganisms, that is called salting. And then ripening. The curd is kept at suitable temperature and humidity. Microorganisms added along with lactic acid bacteria. Here they will impart particular flavors. We can add some flavors to the cheese, and various kinds of cheese are available in the market. So dear students, please give a quick reading to all these things. Basically you need to study about yeast, because the question will come on economic importance of yeast in alcoholic, to prepare alcoholic beverages, wine industry and in baking industry. Now in the next part we will discuss about mushroom cultivation. Thank you.